but we want to make sure that we can get through the program in a timely manner. So if you can be seated, if you can tell your colleagues, gee, it's time to sit down. It's so good to see so many of you. I've been encouraged by seeing so many familiar faces, men and women who are dedicated to making a better life and a better world for others. I want to thank all of you for what you do, community activists, elected officials, leaders in education, banking, contracting, leaders in finance, union leaders, labor leaders. I've seen you all since I've been moving around, and it's certainly a pleasure. Small Business Administration, it's certainly a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. No one could ask a journalist who's looking around trying to figure out where he's going to sit. It's a pleasure being here with you today. No one could ask for a more friendly, a more power-packed audience, and certainly the Community Development Corporation of Long Island deserves our attention. What a beautiful, beautiful gathering. Welcome, welcome, welcome once again to this gathering of the CDC. I've been associated with the CDC now a long time, and I'm very pleased to have this association. And I'm glad that you are here with me. Let's pause now for a minute of silence. There's so much that we have to be thankful for, not only the food that we're consuming, but the safety, the liberty, the freedoms that we enjoy as citizens of the United States of America. Every time I sit down now or drive up and down the highway, I always think that I'm safe because somewhere young men and women risk their lives. Sometimes we question why, but other times we know why. And so we pray for them and their safe return. We give thanks for the leaders, wherever they are and whatever they're doing right now by our governments. We pray that a spirit of peace and honesty and integrity will surround them all. And most of all, we give thee thanks for Long Island and our communities here, and the men and women who try to work together for a better quality of life for us all. This moment of silence we cherish because it causes us to think and to count our blessings. Thank you for that. Sometimes it's good to just reflect, you know, and really begin to think about what it is that we have and why we're so grateful. We're here today to honor our community partners. Zach Mayo of City Commercial Bank, I met him a few moments ago, and Marianne Conway of the New York Community Bank Foundation. And as we honor them, we are also here to make sure that we recognize the great work of the CDC of Long Island. And so now I'd like to introduce our CDC of Long Island Gala Committee Chair, Deborah VanAmerongen. I think I got that right. I did. Now let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the Strategic Policy Advisor from Nixon Peabody. Deborah joined Nixon Peabody as a Strategic Policy Advisor in February 2010. She works closely with attorneys in the firm's affordable housing practice to provide advice to developers, owners, and managers of affordable housing, as well as their financing partners, in the preservation and production of affordable housing nationwide. Deborah brings a wide range of experience in housing and community development. Prior to joining the firm, she was commissioner of the New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal, where she managed an agency with 1,000 employees. She was responsible for administration of New York State's complex rent regulation system, God bless you, and supervision of state finance, Mitchell-Lama, and other affordable housing portfolios. Prior to serving as commissioner, she served as director of multifamily housing for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's New York City region. In that position, she was responsible for the oversight of more than 1,300 HUD-assisted multifamily housing developments in New York City and the surrounding counties, as well as the provision of FHA mortgage insurance for housing and health care facilities. I have to tell you a personal note. I have worked closely with her and work that we've done in New York City, and she is committed to the task of making sure that all U.S. citizens, wherever she may be working, have the opportunity to live in affordable housing. A brilliant, brilliant strategist and someone that we are happy to have as our Gala chair. Please welcome Deborah VanAmerongen. I knew I was going to mess it up.
Thank you so much. Well, that's the best reading of my bio I have ever heard by far. Thank you so much, Reverend Butts, and thank you for being here with us. I'm delighted to serve as the Gala lunch chair again this year. It has been an honor and a pleasure, and I was saying to someone before, you know, the committee is really, I think, more here for moral support than anything else, because Marianne and her staff do such a fabulous job. We try to help them in any way that we can, but the success of this event is really due to Marianne and the staff of the CDC, so I would ask you to give them all a big hand. I do want to thank my fellow committee members for their efforts as well. I know you all spent time reaching out to colleagues and friends, encouraging them to attend and to support this great event, so thank you to the entire committee. And to our prime sponsors, Citi and the New York Community Bank. We need to have strong leadership in financial institutions supporting the work of the CDC, and we thank you for your support of this gala as well. And I joined the Long Island CDC in honoring Zach Mayo and Marianne Conway. I do want to mention we have a number of elected officials and representatives of elected officials here. But I'd like to start by recognizing Commissioner Darrell Towns. Commissioner, if you don't mind raising your hand and saying hello to the crowd. The commissioner oversees all of the state's housing agencies and was gracious enough to join us today at the lunch after being at a lovely groundbreaking ceremony that was held earlier this morning for a project that Long Island CDC is doing with Conifer. And we're delighted that he was willing to spend some more of his day out here. He's very, very busy, so we really appreciate you being here. I'm going to, if you could hold your applause, I'm going to go through the list of names, and given what a great job the Reverend did pronouncing my name, I hope I don't get anybody's name wrong, and I'll apologize ahead of time if I do. We have New York State Assemblyman Al Graff is with us, Mayor Paul Pontieri from the village of Patchogue, one of my personal favorites on Long Island, Mayor Doug Watson from the village of Bayville, Brookhaven Town Council member Tom Mazzi, Lauren Suma, who's representing Town Supervisor John Kalman, Nicholas Terzali, representing Nassau County Executive Ed Mangano. We've got Deputy County Executive and Commissioner Joanne Mieri, representing Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone, Hempstead Town Council woman Dorothy Goosby, North Hempstead Town Council member Viviana Russell, who I know was also at the ribbon cutting groundbreaking earlier today. Nice of her to spend some more of her day with us. Suffolk County Legislator Wayne Horsley, and Village of East Rockaway trustee Ed Corrado. Would you please join me in thanking all the elected officials and their people for being here. I'm especially delighted to have Reverend Butts here because last year I was the MC and now I get to go and sit down and relax and turn it back over to him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deborah, and I'm working on that. I'm going to get that name right if it's the last thing I do. But even more importantly than her name is the work that she's done, and that work has helped a lot of people. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the President and CEO of the Community